Hey, good morning, everyone. Namaste, and welcome to today's session of Young Indian Theosophist, where we are going to observe, in a way, celebrate the anniversary of passing away of not only the founder member, one of the chief founder member of the Theosophical movement, one of the most significant spiritual movement of 19th and 20th century, but also the passing away of one of the most prominent mystic of the 19th century, Helena Petrovna Blavatsky. And that is, as per her own wish, we are going to celebrate it. But before that, let us all come together in heart and mind. And today, being a special session, although she passed away on 8th of May, which later came on to be celebrated as White Lotus Day, because after her passing, Colonel Olcott observed the blooming of a lot of white lilies and lotuses in the Adyar campus. So due to which he termed it as White Lotus Day. So to commemorate her, instead of starting this meeting with the universal prayer, which was penned down by Dr. Annie Besant, let us start this special session by not only mentally vocalizing, but also stopping and contemplating on each step of the golden stairs given to us, given to her by her master and shared with us by H.P. Blavatsky. A clean life, an open mind, a pure heart, an eager intellect, an unveiled spiritual perception, a brotherliness for all, a readiness to give and receive advice and instruction, a loyal sense of duty to the teacher, a willing obedience to the behests of truth. Once we have placed our confidence in and believe that teacher to be in possession of it, a courageous endurance of personal injustice, a brave declaration of principles, a valiant defense of those who are unjustly attacked, and a constant eye to the ideal of human progression and perfection, which the secret science depicts. These are the golden stairs up the steps of which a learner may climb to the temple of divine wisdom. Let us contemplate on these words for a few moments. Welcome back, everyone. And again, welcome again to this observation of White Lotus Day. And as we all know that as per HPP's wish on this day, she wanted the members of the Theosophical Society or who are in harmony with this movement to read a couple of verses from the books Light of Asia, Bhagavad Gita, in the voice of silence. So for these readings, we are having three young Indian theosophists who will be reading the parts and about 10 to 15 minutes each. And at the end, we'll have again some moments of silence. And with that, we'll end this session. So to begin with our today's session, I invite young Indian theosophist Smitapragyan Patro, Sister Smitapragyan Patro, whom we all know, who has done her BTech in biomedical engineering, working as a service engineer and application specialist for ultrasound machines with a channel partner of Philips in the Hyderabad city. She joined the Theosophical Society in 2006 and associated with Utkal Theosophical Federation. She's the secretary of Pythagoras Youth Lodge, Bhubaneswar, and one of the founders and editors of Sophia e-magazine. She has given various talks on various platforms organized by Young Indian Theosophists, Indian section, and also at the International Convention. Also, she's running for a very, very long time that she started a study group by the name of O, which is a very, I would say, a group of people, and she is leading the study of that group in a very depth. So without any further ado, I request Sister Smitapragyan to read some verses from the book Light of Asia.
Good morning and namaste. So thank you for giving me this opportunity. And today I'll read about Light of Asia, and I have taken some stories. So let's start with that. First story is about compassion of Buddha, how compassionate our master was, and this is his previous life story. So I'll start with that. When Buddha were a Brahman's form, dwelling upon a rock named Munda by a village of Dalit, drought withered all the land, the young rice died ere it could hide a quail. In forest glades, a fierce sun sucked the pools, grasses and herbs sickened, and all the woodland creatures and fled, scattering from for sustenance. At such a time, between the hot walls of a nulla, stretched on naked stones, our Lord spied, as he passed, a starving tigress. Hunger in her orbs glared with green flame, her dry tongue lolled a span beyond the gasping jaws and shriveled jaw. Her painted hide hung wrinkled on her ribs, as when between the rafters sinks that rotten with rains, and at the poor lean dugs, two cubs winning with famine, tugged and sucked, mumbling those milkless teats which rendered not, while she, their gaunt dam, licked full motherly the clamorous twins, yielding her flank to them with moaning throat and love stronger than want, softening the first of that wild cry wherewith she laid her famished muzzle to the sand and roared a savage thunder peal of woe, seeing which bitter straight and heeding not, save the immense compassion of a Buddha, our Lord, we thought. There is no other way to help this murderers of the woods but one. By sunset, these will die, having no meat. There is no living heart will pity her. Bloody with ravin, lean for lock of blood. Lo, if I feed her, who shall lose but I? And how can love lose doing of its kind, even to the uttermost? Saying, Buddha silently laid aside sandals and staff, his sacred thread, turban, and cloth, and came forth from behind the milk bush on the sand, saying, O mother, here is meat for thee. Where eat the perishing beast helped hoarse and shrill, sprang from her cubs, and hurling to the earth that willing victim had her feast of him with all the crooked daggers of her claws, rending his flesh, and all her yellow fangs bathed in his blood. The great cat's burning breath mixed with the last sigh of such fearless love. So, this is the story about how compassionate he was. Then, when in the present life, when he was Siddhartha, uh, then once he was traveling through a village, white goats and black sheep winding slow their way, with many a lingering nibble at the tops, and wanderings from the path. Some hurt had lamed one lamb, which toiled behind, bleeding, while in the front its fellow skipped, and the vexed dam hither and thither ran, fearful to lose this little one or that, which when our Lord did mark, full tenderly he took the limping lamb upon his neck, saying, Poor woolly mother, be at peace. Whither thou goest, I'll bear thy care. 'Twere all as good to ease one beast of grief as sit and watch the sorrows of the world in yonder caverns with the priests who pray. But spake he to the herdsman, wherefore, friends, drive ye the flocks down under high noon, since 'tis at evening that men fold their sheep. An answer gave the peasants, We are sent to fetch a sacrifice of course 50 and 50 sheep, the which our Lord the King slayeth this night in worship of his gods. Then said Master, I'll also go. So paced he patiently, bearing the lamb beside the herdsman. Soon they reached the place of sacrifice. People had come from all parts of India to see the ceremony. Everything was ready for the sacrifice to begin. A sheep tied to the sacrificial altar was about to be killed. But Buddha softly said, Let him not strike, great king, and therewith loosed the victim's bonds, non staying him so great his presence was, then craving leave he spake of life, which all can take but none can give. Life, which all creatures love and strive to keep. Wonderful, dear, and pleasant unto each, even to the meanest, yea, a boon to all, where pity is. For pity makes the world soft to the weak and noble for the strong. Unto the dumb lips of the flock, he lent sad pleading words, showing how man, who prays for mercy to the gods, is merciless, being as God to this, albeit all life is linked and keen, and what we slay have given me tribute to the milk and wool and set fast trust upon the hands which murder them. Also he spake of what the holy books do surely teach, how that at death some sink to bird and beast, and these rise up to man, in wandering of the spark which grows purged flame. So where the sacrifice new seen, If so, the fated passage of the soul we stayed. Nor spake he, shall one wash his spirit clean by blood, nor gladden gods, being good with blood, nor bribe them, being evil, nay, nor lay upon the brow of innocent bound beasts one hair's weight of that answer. All must give for all things done amiss of or wrongfully, alone each of himself reckoning with that the fixed arithmetic of the universe which metteth good for good and ill for ill, measure for measure unto deeds, words, thoughts, watchful, aware, impeccable, unmoved, making all future fruits of all past. Thus spake he, breathing words so piteous, with such high lordliness of ruth and right. The priests drew down their garments over the hands crimsoned with slaughter, and the king came near. Sorry, standing with clasped palms, reverencing Buddha, while still our Lord went on teaching how fair this earth were, if all living things be linked in friendliness and common use of foods, bloodless and pure, the golden grain, bright fruits, sweet herbs, which grow for all, the water one, sufficient drinks and meats, which when these heard, the might of gentleness so conquered them. The priests themselves scattered their altar flames and flung away the steel of sacrifice. And through the land next day passed a decree proclaimed by criers, and in this wise graved on rock and column, thus the king's will is, there hath been slaughter for the sacrifice, and slaying for the meat, but henceforth none shall spill the blood of life, nor taste of flesh. Seeing that knowledge grows and life is one, and mercy cometh to the merciful, so ran the edict. And from those days forth, sweet peace hath spread between all living kind, man and the beasts which serve him, and the birds on all those banks of Ganga where our Lord taught with his saintly pity and soft speech. So, this is about animal sacrifice. We should seize it, we should stop it, we should avoid it. While walking towards the city, this Bimbisara city, Magad, Buddha saw a woman, dove eyed, young, with tearful face, and lifted hands, saluted, bending low. Lord, thou art he, she said, who yesterday had pity on me in the fig grove here, where I live lone and reared my child, but he straying amid the blossoms found a snake which twined about his wrist, whilst he did laugh and tease the quick forked tongue and open mouth of that cold playmate. But alas, ere long, he turned so pale still. I couldn't think why he should cease to play and let my breast fall from his lips. And one said, he is sick of poison, and another, he will die. But I, who could not lose my precious boy, prayed for them physic, which might bring the light back to his eyes. It was so very small, that kiss mark of the serpent, and I think it could not hate him, gracious as he was, nor hurt him in his spot. And some one said, there is a holy man upon the hill. So now he passeth in the yellow robe. Ask of the Rishi if there be a cure for that which ails thy son. Whereon I came trembling to thee, whose brow is like a god's, and wept and drew the face, clothed from my baby, praying thee, tell what simples might be good, and thou, great sir, didst spurn me not, but gaze with gentle eyes, and touch with patient hand, then draw the face cloth back, saying to me, yeah, little sister, there is that might heal thee first and him, if thou couldst fetch the thing for who seek physicians bring of them what is ordained. Therefore, I pray thee, find black mustard seed, a tola, only mark. Thou take it not from any hand or house where father, mother, child, or slave hath died. It shall be well if thou canst find such seed. Thus didst thou speak, my lord. The master smiled exceedingly tenderly. Yeah, I spake thus, dear Kisagotami, but didst thou find the seed? I went, Lord, clasping to my breast. The baby grew colder, asking at each hut here in the jungle and towards the town, I pray you give me mustard of your grace, a tola black, and each who had it gave. For all the poor are piteous to the poor, but when I asked in my friend's household here hath any per adventure even died, husband or wife or child or slave? They said, oh sister, what is this you ask? The dead are very many and the living few. So, with sad thanks, I gave the mustard back and prayed of others. But the others said, here is the seed, but we have lost our slave. Here is the seed, but our good man is dead. Here is the seed, but he that sowed it died between the rain time and the harvesting. Ah, sir, I could not find single house where there was mustard seed and none had died. Therefore, I left child who would not suck nor smile beneath the wild vines by the stream to seek any face and kiss thy feet and pray where I might find the seed and find no death. If now indeed my baby be not dead, as I do fear, and as they said to me, my sister, thou hast found, the master said, searching for what none finds, that bitter bark had to give thee. He thou lovest slept dead on thy bosom yesterday. Today thou knowest the whole wide world weeps with thy woe. The grief which all hearts share grows less for want. Lo, I would pour my blood of it, if it could stay thy tears and win the secret of that curse which makes sweet love our anguish, and which drives over flowers and pastures to the sacrifice, as these dumb beasts are driven, men their lords. I seek that secret, bury thou thy child. One more story about Buddha's enlightenment. When Buddha was meditating before his enlightenment, moon after moon, our Lord sat in the wood. So, meditating this, that he forgot oft times the hour of food, rising from thoughts prolonged beyond the sunrise and the noon. Therefore, his grace faded, his body, worn by stress of soul, lost day by day the marks. And once, at such a time, the overwrought prince fell to the earth in deadly swoon, all spent, even as one slain, who had no longer breath nor any stir of blood. So one he was, so motionless. But there came by that way a shepherd boy, who was Siddharth lie, who saw Siddharth lie, with lids fast closed and lines of nameless pain fixed on his lips, the fiery noonday sun beating upon his head, who plucking brows from wild rose apple trees, knitted them thick into a bower to shade the sacred face. Also, he poured upon the master's lips drops of warm milk pressed from his she goat's back, lest, being of low caste, he do wrong to one so high and holy seeming. But the books tell how the jumbo branches planted thus, short with quick life in wealth of leaf and flower and glowing fruitage interlaced and close, so that the bower grew like a tent of silk pitched for a king of hunting, decked with studs of silver work and bosses red gold, and the boy worshipped, deeming him some god. But our Lord, gaining breath, arose and asked milk in the shepherd's lota. Ah, my Lord, I cannot give thee. Quoth the lad, thou seest I am a Shudra, and my touch defiles. Then the world honored spake, pity and need make all flesh keen. There is no caste in blood, which runneth of one hue, nor caste in tears, which trickle salt with all. Neither comes man to birth with tilka mark stamped on the brow, nor sacred thread on neck. Who doth who doth right deeds twice born, and who doeth ill deeds while. Give me to drink, my brother, when I come unto my quest, it shall be good for thee. Thereat the peasant's heart was glad and gave. And on other day there passed that road and band tinselled girls, the, no- the notch dancers of Indra's temple in the town, with those who made their music, one that beat a drum set round with peacock feathers, one that blew the piping bansuli, and one that twitched a three-string sitar. Lightly tripped they down from ledge to ledge and through the checkered paths to some gay festival, the silver bells, chiming soft peals about the small brown feet, armlets and wrist rings tattling answer shrill, while he that bore the sitar thrummed and twanged his thread of brass. She beside him sang, where goes the dancing when the sitar's tuned? Tune us the sitar neither low nor high, and we will dance away the hearts of men. The string overstretched breaks, and the music flies. The string overslack is dumb, and music dies. Tune us the sitar neither low nor high. So sang the Notch girl to the pipe and voice fluttering like some vain, painted butterfly from glade to glade along the forest path, nor dreamed her light words echoed on the ear of him, that holy man who sat so rapt under the fig tree by the path. But Buddha lifted his great brow as the wantons passed and spake, the foolish of times teach the wise. I strain too much this string of life, belike, meaning to make such music as shall save. Mine eyes are dim now that they see the truth. My strength is waned now that my need is most. Would that I had such help as man must have, for I shall die, whose life was all men's hope. So, this was the story about Buddha's life. And I think I should stop here. And thank you so much for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you, Sister Smitapragyan, for sharing with us such inspiring stories from the light of Asia. And excuse me, please, if you hear the dogs barking in the background. And now I think we all can appreciate the fact why HPB wanted us to read these three books, which are full of inspiration and some insights. And without wasting any further time, I would like to invite Sister Varsha Patel, uh, who is from Ahmedabad, Gujarat, and she's an assistant professor in a government college, Gujarat, since 2011, subject economics. She joined the Theosophical Society in 2005, and the lodge that she joined was Rohit Lodge, Gujarat Federation. She is the former president of Rohit Lodge, former council and executive committee member of Gujarat Federation, former young youth chairman in the Gujarat Federation and former national lecturer of the Theosophical Society Indian section, and director and moderator of youth programs in Gujarat, Bhawali, Bhubaneswar, Odisha, and Hyderabad, and currently doing many social activities through Buddha Theosophical Order of Service in Gujarat. And also she is running a YouTube channel by the name of Appadipo Bhava, where you can subscribe and share with others also. So Varsha ji, please, and she'll be reading to us some parts from the Bhagavad Gita.
हेलो सर सर आवाज ठीक है
हाँ
हेलो
थोड़ा हाँ यस यस ओके प्लीज इफ एनीथिंग मैं आपको बता दूंगा यस
सर मेरी आवाज आ रही है
हाँ यस आवाज आ रही है यस यस हेलो वर्षा जी आप यू कैन यू हियर मी हाँ यस यस
A very warm good morning to all of you. Happy White Lotus Day to all of you. Today, I read few slokas from the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, the last Adhyay, Moksha Sannyasa Yoga. Bhaktya mam vijanati yavanyashvasmi tatvatah ततो मा तत्त्वतो ज्ञात्वा विशते तदनन्तरम् means only by loving devotion to me does one come to know who I am in truth. Then having come to know me, my devotee enters into full consciousness of me. Shloka number 56. सर्वकर्माण्यपि सदा कुर्वाणो मदव्यपाश्रयः मत्प्रसादादवाप्नोति शाश्वतं पदमव्ययम् means my devotees through performing all kinds of action take full refuge in me. By my grace, they attain the eternal and imperishable abode. Sloka number 57. Chetasa sarvakalmani mai sanyasya matparah buddhi yogamupashritya matchittah satatam bhava means dedicate your every activity to me, making me your supreme goal, taking shelter of the yoga, of the intellect. Keep your consciousness absorbed in me always. Here, in short, yoga means union, and buddhi yoga means having the intellect united with God. This union of the intellect occurs when it is firmly convinced that everything in existence has emanated from God, is connected to Him, and it meant for His satisfaction. Shloka number 58. मच्चित्तः सर्वदुर्गाणि मत्प्रसादात् तरिष्यसि अतः चेत्त्वमहङ्कारा न श्रोष्यसि विनक्ष्यसि means if you always remember me, by my grace you shall overcome all obstacles and difficulties. But if due to pride you do not listen to my advice, you will perish. Shloka number 59. Yadam hankaramashritya na yosya iti manyase mithesha vyavasayaste prakrutischa niyokshati. Means, if motivated by pride, you think I shall not fight, your decision will be in vain. Your own nature will compel you to fight. Here, Krishna wants to say that everyone have a free will, what to do and what not to do. The soul does not lead an independent existence. It is dependent upon God's creation in many ways, and the materialist bound state, it is under the influence of three gunas. The combination of three gunas, sattva, rajas, tamas. The combination of three gunas create our nature, and according to it, decades we are complete to complete to act. Sloka number 66. Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. Aham tva sarvapapebhyo moksha ishyami ma shucha. It is a very popular sloka. It means that abandons all varieties of dharmas and simply surrender unto me alone. I shall liberate you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. In short, all along Krishna had been asking Arjun to do two things simultaneously. One, engage his mind in devotion. And second, engage his body in fulfilling his material duty as a warrior. Sloka number 67. Idam tena tapaskaya na bhaktaya kadachana na cha shrushve vachyam na cha mayobhyasuyati. This instruction should never be explained to those who are not astir or to those who are not devoted. It should also not be spoken to those who are averse to listening to spiritual topics, and especially not to those who are envious of me. In short, Kalma Sannyas is only for those who are qualified for it. Sloka number 68. Ya idanam paramam guhyam mada bhaktesha vidyasyati bhaktim nai param krutva mame vaishyatya sanshayah. Amongst my devotees, those who teach this most confidential knowledge perform the greatest act of love. They will come to me without doubt. Means the opportunity to engage ourselves in devotion is a special blessing of God. But the opportunity to help others engage in devotion is an even bigger blessing, which attracts the special grace of God. Whenever we share something good with others, we benefit from it too. And last, sloka number 69. Nacha tasman manushyesu kashvim me priyakruttama bhavita nacha me tasma anya priyataro bhuvi. No human being does more loving service to me than they, nor shall there ever be anyone on this earth more dear to me. Here Krishna talk about Arjun. Nor shall there ever be anyone on this earth more dear to me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Varshaji, for sharing with us that excerpt from Karma Sannyas Yoga and with the meaning itself. Thank you so much. And now I would like to invite our third reader of the day, Brother Sri Harsha. And all of you are familiar with him. He's a young, dynamic, young Indian theosophist, and he's a qualified chartered accountant currently working in Hyderabad. And he hails from a theosophical background. So he's like a second generation theosophist and associated with TS for more than 10 years now. And he's a member of Vishakhapatnam Lodge and served as the Lodge secretary for 2 years. And in May 2018, the Lodge there conducted a youth study camp where he was the program convener. And later, working with the Lodge annual activities and being an active speaker at the Lodge, they were organizing regularly the events. And also, he enrolled himself in the World Federation of Young Theosophists and participated in the International Youth Conference that was held in Adyar in December 22. And his understanding of life, or with which he approaches every day, is that the only factor that makes you beautiful is by you being that nucleus and generating curiosity. With these words, I invite Brother Sri Harsha to read some of the part of the book, The Voice of the Silence.
Thank you so much. I hope my voice is audible.
Yes, it's good.
Yeah, thank you. The book Voice of the Silence is something that is unmatchable, because in the theosophical literature, one of the main important thing is inquiry and introspection. And when leading to inquiry and introspection, and if you find a book like Voice of the Silence, you find a different set of terms, words, and analogies that will make you feel, understand in a whole different way altogether. I mean, it is not a single interpreted book. You can interpret it in different ways, and every single time when you interpret, your understanding evolves. And for the first time, if you read, you might find it in different way. For the 100th time, if you read, you find it different way. So this book is all fresh every single time. And I'm blessed that I have got the opportunity to read this one segment, that is the 7 portals. I'll be slow, but I'll definitely do it on a time. I mean, maybe on the time I'll definitely complete it. So thank you so much. So I'll be reading the 7 portals from the book Voice of the Silence. Fragment 3. Upadhyaya, the choice is made. I thirst for wisdom. Now hast thou rent the wheel before the secret path and taught the greater Yana. Thy servant here is ready for thy guidance. This will, Savaka, prepare thyself, for thou wilt have to travel all alone. The teacher can but point the way. The path is one for all. The means to reach the goal must vary with the pilgrims. Which will thou choose, O thou of dauntless heart? The Smantan of I doctrine, fourfold dhyana, or thread thy way through Parampitas, 6 in number, noble gates of virtue leading to Bodhi and to Prajna, 7th step of wisdom. The rugged path of fourfold dhyana winds on uphill. Thrice great is he who climbs the lofty top. The Parampita heights are crossed by a still steeper path. Thou hast to fight thy way through portals 7 strongholds held by cruel, crafty powers, passions incarnate. Be of good cheer, disciple. Bear in mind the golden rule. Once thou hast passed the gate, Srotapati, he who the stream hath entered, once thy foot hath pressed the bed of the nirvanic stream in this or any future life, thou hast but 7 other births before thee, O thou of adamantine will. Look on, what seest thou before thine eye, O aspirant to godlike wisdom? The cloak of darkness is upon the deep of matter. Within its folds I struggle. Beneath my gaze it deepens. It is dispelled beneath the waving of thy hand. A shadow moveth, creeping like the stretching serpent coils. It grows, swells out, and disappears in darkness. It is the shadow of thyself outside the path, cast on the darkness of thy sins. Yeah, Lord, I see the path, its foot in mire, its summits lost in glorious light nirvanic. And now I see the ever-narrowing portals on the hard and thorny way to Jnana. Thou seest well these portals lead the aspirant across the waters onto the other shore. Each portal had a golden key that opened its gate. And these keys are Dana, the key of charity and love immortal. Sila, the key of harmony in word and act, the key that counterbalances the cause and the effect. The cause in the effect and leaves no further room for karmic action. Shanti, patience sweet that naught can be ruffled. Vairag, indifference to pleasure and to pain, illusion conquered, truth alone perceived. Virya, the dauntless energy that fights its way to the supernal truth out of the mire of lies terrestrial. Dhyana, whose golden gate once open leads towards the realm of eternal and its ceaseless contemplation. Prajna, the key to which makes of a man a god, creating him a bodhisattva, son of the Dhyanis. Such to the portals are the golden keys. So the golden keys are given in the 7 steps, and each step, every single step, when the aspirant goes, he finds things accordingly, and it is everybody's own individual journey. Before thou canst approach the last, O weaver of thy freedom, thou hast to master these parampitas of perfection, the virtues transcendental 6 and 10 in number along the very path. For, O disciple, before thou wert made fit to meet thy teacher face to face, thy master light to light, what wert thou told? Before thou canst approach the foremost gate, thou hast to learn to part thy body from thy mind, to dissipate the shadow and to live in the eternal. For this, thou hast to live and breathe in all, as all that thou perceivest breathes in thee, to feel thyself abiding in all things in self. Thou shalt not try and let thy senses make a playground of thy mind. Thou shalt not separate thy being from being and the rest, but merge the ocean in the drop and the drop with the ocean. This is a beautiful statement in the entire context if you really observe. Merge the ocean in the drop with the ocean. So in the end, the drop and the ocean are one and the same when you are seeing it at the wholesome level. So shall thou be in full accord with all that lives. Bear love to men as though they were thy brother pupils, disciples of one teacher, the sons of one sweet mother. Of teachers there are many. The master soul is one, Alaya, the universal soul. Live in that master, as its ray in thee. Live in thy fellows as they live in it. Before thou standest on the threshold of the path, before thou crossest the foremost gate, thou hast to merge the two into the one and sacrifice the personal to self-impersonal, and thus destroy the path between. It's called the Antakarana. It is beautifully given when you actually interpret in a more meditative state, then you find it absolutely blissful because you feel like your things are getting channelized, your way of approach is being changed. So when I first read this chapter, maybe 1-2 years back, I didn't get anything. I didn't understand anything, first of all. But slowly, when I try to interpret, not to get some understanding, but to at least to visualize what is it's being told, then slowly understanding developed, and that is how it is. So I feel every single term here has got some link, and that would all help to make a larger connection for your understanding as far as spiritual introspection, meditation, and listening to the voice is concerned. Because at the end, what are you in this planet Earth? You are here to evolve as a human being, help evolve others in the journey of their spiritual path. Thou has to be prepared to answer dharma, the stern law, whose voice will ask thee at thy first, thy initial step. Hast thou complied with all the rules of lofty hopes? Hast thou attuned thy heart and mind to the great mind and heart of all kind? For as the sacred river's roaring voice, whereby all nature sounds are echoed back, so must the heart of him who in the stream would enter thrill in response to every sigh and thought of all that lives and breathes. Disciples may be likened to the strings of the soul echoing Veena, mankind unto its sounding board, the hand that sweeps it to the tuneful breath of the great world soul. The string that fails to answer the master's touch in harmony with all the others. So the collective minds of Lanus Ravakas, they have to be tuned to the Upadhyaya's mind, one with the oversoul or breakaway. Thus do the brothers of the shadow, the murderers of their souls, the dread Dad Dakpa clan. Hast thou attuned thy being to humanity's great pain, O candidate for light? Thou mayest enter, yet thou settest foot upon the dreary path of sorrow. This well thou should first learn the pitfalls on thy way. Armed with the key of charity, of love, and tender mercy, thou art secure before the gate of Dana, the gate that standeth of the entrance of the path. Behold, O happy pilgrim, the portal that faced thee is high and wide, seem easy to access. The road that leads therethrough is straight and smooth and green. This, like a sunny glade in the dark forest depths, a spot on earth mirrored from Amitabha's paradise. There, nightingales of hope and birds of radiant plumage sing perched in green bowers, chanting success to fearless pilgrims. They sing of Bodhisattva's virtues 5, the 5-fold source of Bodhi power and of 7 steps in knowledge. Pass on, for thou hast got the key, thou art secure. And to the second gate, the way is verdant too, but it is steep and winds up the hill. Yeah, to its rocky top, grey mists will overhang its rough and stony height, and all be dark beyond. As on he goes, the song of hope soundeth more feeble in the pilgrim's heart. The thrill of doubt is now open upon him. His steep is so high that the step less steady grows. Beware of this, O candidate. Beware of fear that spread like the black and soundless wings of midnight bat between the moonlight of thy soul and the great goal that loom in the distance far away. Fear, O disciple, kills the will and stays all action. If lacking in the Sila virtue, the pilgrim trips and karmic pebbles bruise his feet along the rocky path. Be of sure foot, O candidate, in Shanti's essence bath thy soul. For now thou approach the portal of that name, the gate of fortitude and patience. Close not thine eyes, nor lose thy sight of the arrows ever smite the man who has not reached the Vairag. Beware of trembling. need the breath of fear, the key of Shanti, rusty grooves. The rusty key refused to unlock. The more thou dost advance, the more thy feet pitfalls will meet. The path that lead is lighted by on fire, the light of daring burning in the heart. The more one dares, the more he shall obtain. The more he fears, the more that light shall pale. And that alone can guide. That alone can guide him. You see, the more he fears, the more that light shall pale. If you are in absolute fear, obviously you feel so dim and dark and you cannot find your path. But when you are, you are exploring in the right way, then automatically the gates will be open and you can see the light and you can see the direction as well. It can be interpreted in different ways. For as the lingering sunbeam that on the top of some tall mountain shines, is followed by black night when out it fades, so is heart light. When out it goes, a dark and threatening shade will fall from thine own heart upon the path and root thy feet in terror to the spot. Beware, disciple, of that lethal shade. No light that shines from spirit can dispel darkness of neither soul unless all selfish thought has fled therefrom. And that pilgrim saint, I have renounced this passing frame. I have destroyed the cause. The shadows cast can as effects no longer. For now, the last great fight, the final war between the higher and the lower self has taken place. Behold, the very battlefield is now engulfed in the great war and is no more. But once that thou hast passed the gate of Shanti, the third step is taken. Thy body is thy slave. Now for the fourth prepare the portal of temptations which do ensnare the inner man. Thou canst near the goal before thine hand is lifted to appraise the fourth gate's latch. The latch should be opened. The fourth gate is so tempting, it is of pleasure. Thou must have mastered all the mental changes in thyself and slain the army of thought sensations that, subtle and insidious, creep unasked within soul's bright shrine. If thou wouldst not be slain by them, then must thou harmless make thy own creations, the children of thy thoughts, unseen, impalpable, the swarm round mankind, the progeny and heirs to man and his terrestrial spoils. Thou hast to study the voidness of the seeming full, the fullness of seeming void. O fearless aspirant, look deep within the well of thine own heart and answer. Knowest thou of the self of powers, O thou perceiver of external shadows? For on the path forth, the lightest breeze of passion or desire will stir the steady light upon the pure white walls of soul. The smallest wave of longing or regret of Maya's gifts along Antakarana, the path that lies between thy spirit and thyself, the highway of sensations, the rude arousers of Ahankara, a thought as fleeting as the lightning flash will make thee thy three prizes forfeit. The prizes thou hast won, for now that the eternal knows no change. The 8 dire desires, or the miseries, I would say, the 8 dire miseries forsake forevermore. For if not to wisdom, sure, thou can't come, not yet liberation, said the great Lord, the Tathagata of perfection, he who has followed in the footsteps of his predecessors, stern and exacting in the virtue of Vairaga. If thou its path wouldn't matter, thou must keep thy mind and thy perceptions far freer than before the killing action. Thou hast to saturate thyself with pure alaya, become as one with nature's soul thought, and with it thou art invincible. In separation, thou become the playground of samvriddhi, origin of all world delusions. All is impermanent in man, except the pure bright essence of Alaya. Man is its crystal ray, a beam of light immaculate within a form of clay material upon the lower surface. That beam is thy life guide and thy true self, the watcher, the silent thinker, the victim of thy lower self. Thy soul cannot be hurt, but through thy erring body, control and master both, and thou art safe when crossing to the nearing gate of balance. This set of phrases, this set of inclusions in the fragment, the 7 portals, it is much more deeper. The 7 portals has got a long chapter. But if I have to say a few things on this, the road is absolutely given. Not that this is the real road, but to the disciple who is aspiring to achieve the spiritual journey, he has got the beginning steps. There was a beautiful thing which I have read. The Voice of the Silence of H.P. Blavatsky is a classic theosophical literature. For the simple sense, it has got many depths of meaning and is a never-ending source for study. And as I have told in the beginning, for the spiritual inspiration and introspection, this book is a guide. There can be no single interpretation, as again told in the before, and every student can agree upon different approaches. Students who wish to understand something of its profound spiritual teaching must undertake their own search. That is the key of the book Voice of the Silence, and that is the reason maybe I feel Blavatsky asked to read Voice of the Silence as well, because students get the art of exploration and inquiry from this book. So I thank the opportunity given to me, because I think we are running out of time, but I hope I covered few important parts wherein that could lead a beautiful understanding or beautiful way of letting ourselves to the spiritual introspection. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Brother Sri Harsha. You definitely shared the very important and significant part, a part of 7 portals. Yes, the chapter is very long, and of course, at least we can assume that each of one of the delegates present here will go through that again, and also Light of Asia and Bhagavad Gita. All 3 books are very significant and important in this aspect. So thank you once again, Brother Sri Harsha. And now coming to the end of the program, since it's almost already time. So let's just have some moments of silence and pay our reverence and regards to the soul that we knew as H.P. Blavatsky, the light bringer for the modern humanity. And may the memory of her, the teachings given by her, inspire us. Eternal teachings shared by her, inspire us in our daily lives and all the days to come. And with this, let us pray for the welfare of the whole manifestation, that everyone's spiritual progress becomes swift, and everyone receives some help that they deserve. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu, sarvesham shantir bhavatu, sarvesham purnam bhavatu, sarvesham mangalam bhavatu, sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukhabhat bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. And I once again thank all the three speakers of today, Sister Smitapragyan, Sister Varsha, and Brother Sri Harsha, and all the participants, delegates who joined. Thank you a lot. It meant a lot, and wishing you all a very inspiring, enlightening, and insightful White Lotus Day, which is on 8th of May. And see you next week, same time. Namaste.